Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Tesla Life, episode 60 for July 18th, 2018. My name is Russell Frost. I am your host for this evening's festivities in the land of Tesla and joy. And along with me on our trip into that carnival of fun, none other than my wingman on this show, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
The carnival of craziness. Absolutely. Absolutely. Welcome to the show, everybody. We've got a ton of information that we've collected over this past week. It just keeps flowing. It never stops.
It was definitely a hot Tesla news week. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It may not be all technical, but boy, was Tesla
Do we have news?
The man in that designer, I'm going to call it lavender shirt, our man in Chicago, Mr. Tony Schaefer.
Hey, I just learned something. If you type a lot of messages really quickly into the chat, then Google stops you from posting. Let's see. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row, and then Mark, then Hockey Day, and then I tried to post, and it came up and said, "You've been posting a lot lately. Maybe you should take a break."
You're a chat room scammer, Tony.
Wow. You're a chat room security problem.
I am. Yes.
And that's the first show title I'm writing down. Chat room security problem.
So the really cool thing is, and I'm seeing new names in the chat room, and I know we've picked up some new subscribers. So this is a challenge that we put out to everyone in the chat room watching the show live. As we go along, shout out show titles, and if we use your show title as the title for the show, you will get Mark's Model 3.
Absolutely. To keep forever.
When he's done with it in about
when I'm done with it, yes.
15 years.
Yeah. About 15 years from now,
yeah.
We'll hunt it down and you can have it. Absolutely. And if you believe that, we've got some swampland for you too.
Yeah. I have some really good stock you can buy that's cheap. I seem to be. There we go. Okay. Well, our first news story of the week is something we've all been expecting. And Tesla confirmed it. Obviously, it's been on the minds of everyone who's had an order in and will have an order in going forward. It was expected. Tesla's been maneuvering around to make sure it happened at the right time. What am I talking about? Tesla finally hit the magic United States of America 200,000 sold number, which means it starts to sunset the federal tax credit. When you buy a car, that federal tax credit is $7,500, and that will get cut in half by the end of 2018 because of the way the credit sunset. It doesn't go away automatically. It's phased out.
And just before we go into more detail on that, Russell, I just wanted to say, that's 200,000 EVs sold by Tesla alone.
Yeah.
That's a remarkable number in itself. They have sold 200,000 EVs in the U.S. since their inception.
200,000, I don't mean this in any negative way, expensive EVs.
Yeah.
Which, in a sense, kind of brings me back to the whole, like, nobody wants EVs. I mean, and forgive me for bringing another car company into the Tesla life, but just this last week, an executive of a global luxury car brand said, "Nah, EVs, it's not their time yet.
Not ready for prime time yet, is it?"
Yeah.
Said Mr. Head of Lexus.
Yeah. Oh, did I say that?
No, I said it.
Oh, okay, good. Because it didn't come from me.
All right, I gotta interrupt here. Russell?
Yeah, Tony.
You're still presenting.
Why am I? Oh, am I really? No.
Oh,
no.
wait, and I just accidentally screen shared.
That was you, Tony.
No, I mean
watching a baseball game while you're doing the show.
Is that what came up? No, I was trying to. No, I'm not. There's no baseball right now. No, I was trying to hit the chat to tell you that you were presenting. People in the chat room are like, "Screen's not changing."
Really? I was just talking a lot. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Believe me, I don't blame anyone in the chat room for not wanting to stare at my face.
True.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's so even more amazing that, like for long, car companies have put forth the lie, and it is the lie, capital T, capital L, the lie. As soon as consumers tell us they want EVs. We're going to make them.
As soon as they're so vastly profitable as our gas cars, we'll start making them.
Right, exactly. Just say it. You know what? If somebody says we can't afford to restructure our dealer network, all of our profits will disappear from service, blah, 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 blah. We can't afford to do this. I would be like, well, that sucks and it's horrible, but wow, you didn't lie. When you tell me you're just waiting for consumer demand, you're lying.
Yeah, because obviously consumer is definitely asking for EVs. Like there's no doubt.
There seem to be 200,000 examples of that.
And that's just one company.
Yeah. Again, not discounting Bolt, discounting Leaf, which adds to those numbers. Okay.
So be warned, everybody. Again, 200,000 has been reached. The tax credit starts to phase out, and it will be at the end of 2018. It will drop in half.
Yes.
So the 7,500 drops in half, and then 2 quarters later, it drops in half again, or down to a quarter.
So just to be clear, if you're going to buy an electric vehicle in the United States or a Tesla in the United States, you have until December 31st to take delivery. If you don't take delivery before September 31st, you do not get the $7,500 credit. Between January 1st and June 30th of 2019, you get $3,750. After June 30th, you get $1,875 until December 31st, 2019, after which point you get nothing but a high five.
If you're lucky.
Now, can any of that be changed by Congress in a moment? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It could go away sooner. It could go away later.
But as it stands now, those are the rules.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at what happened in Ontario.
Absolutely. There was definitely a hard date that was written. Once the election happened, it all changed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
yep.
So
if you guys had to venture a guess, and of course this is a guess, and we don't know policy. The original intent for the 200,000 car was to help companies get off the ground, and they said 200,000 is enough. After that, you should be established enough that you don't need the incentive. It fades out. Do you think that the federal government would keep it in place, or do you think they still believe that Tesla's good enough and now it's time to take away Tesla's incentive and let Jaguar have the incentive, let Toyota have the incentive, let Buick have the incentive, let Chevy have the incentive? See what I mean?
Well, Chevy is getting to that 200,000 as well, but barring just a different company, I think that was what they were after. Is you say it's tough to sell them, so you can have a rebate or a tax credit in place, which will allow the consumer to pick it up for a lesser amount, and you don't necessarily lose all the money on the creation of the vehicle that costs you money R&D up front. So it gave manufacturers the ability to start the ball rolling, to get these cars started to press out, and to be somewhat profitable. So they're not losing on every car. So I think that was the plan.
And let's be clear. I mean, I don't want to beat this too hard, but as a society, we're allowed to say we think promoting the sale of electric vehicles is in our interest. It's not just a matter of helping a company. It's a matter of saying this is good national policy for us to encourage these vehicles to be sold. It's not about helping Tesla or Nissan or Toyota or Chevrolet. It's about, is this good policy? And we can argue, as we might, about caps and whatnot and price limits on this, but in general, I definitely support the sales of EVs, and I'm glad to see that the feds have done this. Mm-hmm. I think it should be restructured and changed, but that's a different show topic. Let's go to our next news item before we talk this until I want to kill myself. Mark, I'm going to turn this over to you because anything I say here is going to sound cynical.
Elon was speaking just a little while ago, earlier in the week, and he was discussing what had been going on to the point where they were ramping up to 5,000 cars a week, and he made the comment that he believes that his quote unquote production hell will be over in a month. So he feels he can see light at the end of the tunnel, and he does not believe the light is a train. So he's happy that he can see that this this ramp up that has cost him, I'm sure, many gray hairs, has now started to come to an end, and he can see that the company is getting out of production hell, that things are changing for them, and he's quite happy to see that, and I'm sure everybody is being able to get out of that I guess that vicious cycle that you're trying to obtain certain numbers at all times, and you have to do it by the hour, by the minute, by the day. They seem to be over the issues that have come up. They've been able to tackle them one after another, and now that they're producing cars in the way they believe they should be, the numbers are ramping up, and we've seen evidence of that over the past few months. So good to see that he believes as well that this the hurdle has finally been made, and the light is being seen at the end of the tunnel.
I had nothing.
Do you think, okay, has as much as they had to struggle to get to 5,000, do you think 10,000 in a month is realistic?
Well, 10,000. It was 5,000 in a week.
I said 10,000 in a month. I meant 10,000 a week in a month, because he says here, doesn't he say that it expects to be 10,000 units per week over a longer period of time, and should be over in a month. So what I meant was not 10,000 a month. I meant 10. Whatever.
No,
you know what I mean.
No. just to answer your question. No, it's not possible.
Okay.
I mean, let's be clear. Allegedly, Tesla produced 5,000-ish Model 3s the last week of last month, along with 2,000
S and X's.
S's and X's. Thank you, Mark. Suddenly my brain.
Mm-hmm.
As I understand it, that production has gone back to about 3,000 to 3,500 threes per week since then. They need to do something sustainable, which is sort of ironic word to use when talking about Tesla. This push, this artificial, like 24/7 shifts, building stuff in tents, robots on parade, extra temporary workers, painting in garbage bags, God knows what. Okay. They need to just make cars, and they need to make good, high quality cars. And if that number is 3,500 a week or 5,000 a week, the last thing I think Elon Musk should be shouting about right now is 10,000 per week. I think that's irresponsible.
We know that Elon does not stay in the realm of reality when it comes to speaking to the media or anybody else. Like when they were talking about the first Gigafactory getting up to speed, he was already talking about 3 Gigafactories. So it is something that he does. It is in his DNA. He cannot change it. He always does this. But I have to give it up. He did get them to this point. Now, whether it came hook or crook to get to 5,000 a week, yeah, they did many things that they wouldn't want to be doing on a regular basis in order to get to that number. So yes, they are going to, but they have ramped up from 2,000 to 3,000 to 4,000 to now 5. So yeah, they back off the throttle a little bit once they reach the new quarter. That seems to be always the way. But they then begin to recoup and to start to build up those numbers again. And eventually, yeah, they're going to get to 6,000. They're going to get to 7,000. It is something that they are going to be able to do. They have shown that they can go from 500 to 5,000 over a span of time. So I believe that they will get there. It's just a matter of what time frame will that be, and will it match the expectations that Elon sets forth? Most likely not, but that is his management style. That will never change.
Yeah, I would not want Elon as a manager. Setting my year-end targets. What'd you do last year? All right, quadruple it.
We're going to quadruple it, and you're taking a day off a week, and you're still going to hit that number.
Right. But I worked 50 hours a week last year. Make it 90. Next.
Oh, man.
Elon is both Tesla's strongest advantage and biggest weakness. How's that? That'll stir some crap up.
Well, that is a good way to put it. Like he's definitely
both.
He's both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've said many times that stretch goals can be good, but they are supposed to be realistic and achievable.
That's all I got.
Well,
next
story is Model 3 performance versions. Has started production.
You made an engine sound for it.
And Russell's driving his internal combustion engine right through this story.
Hey, it doesn't have a noisemaker?
What? And what was kind of cool was that we got some photographs of some of this evidence of these cars being produced.
I fear that Russell will have to display them or no one will be able to see them.
Well, I will try to share them and see if that works or not.
Yeah. Look there.
So, chat room, are you seeing the photo of the red Model 3 performance?
No, we're not, because I'm watching it. I'm watching the live stream at the same time.
We're not seeing it?
No, it's all Russell all the time. I'm telling you.
I'm not even presenting.
All right, I don't know what to tell you, but everybody is.
The chat room says they are not seeing it.
Wow.
A lot of people in the chat room have already said that they've gouged out their eyes.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Jeez. My apologies to the chat room. How's this? I'll just do this.
Oh, so much better.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the thing is, since knowing that I can't be seen, the chat room can't see that I've already taken my shirt off.
I'm presenting there. Tony, now you should be up.
Okay, wait. I don't think so. No.
Chat room.
Google, curse you.
Yeah, it's Google. No, it's not even me.
Yeah, this is, all I can say again, my apologies to everyone in the chat room. No one should, I don't even want to look at me that much. And I don't have any way of fixing this. I don't think.
That's why the show title needs to be The Russell Life.
Wow.
Yep.
Way to go, John. John posted the Russell Life show tonight. So, okay.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah. And Hockey Day said Russell Vision.
Yeah.
And
I got that one.
I had the all Russell all the time. And then I threw in Robots on Parade because I thought that was funny.
I like Robots on Parade. Stop.
So the multimedia stuff is not going to work out too well tonight. But
no, sorry, everyone.
Anyways, just to move on with the story, the performance version of the car has started to roll off the assembly line in large numbers. We understand from a few photos that we really can't share, but are out there, that over 100 Model 3 Performance were made, and we're sitting in several spots. That's a great graphic there, Russell. That's fantastic.
You like that?
Yeah.
I just like. Can I just do that? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna do the rest of the show under this cloth.
There we go.
Bye. I'm so sorry.
It's changed now to the Elephant Man show.
Just print out pictures of us, and then as we start talking, just swap them out.
You can just parade them in front of the camera. Exactly.
Yes.
So the 100 cars have been produced, and of course, where the speculation is that these 100 cars are going to be now distributed to different Tesla stores across the country, and these are going to be used for test drives as Tesla now starts to actively sell the Model 3, whereas before they've been quietly just not talking about it. Now it is going to roll out so that all these stores have a one or maybe more of these Model 3 performance versions to allow people to get behind the wheel, drive it on the road, and hopefully buy one or two. So this is Tesla's plan, and has been for a while. We're now just starting to see it roll out. So everyone, you can actually on the Tesla website, you can request a test drive, and they will let you know when the car is available and schedule a time and date for you to come in to do so. So, and a number of people on our Twitter feed, by the way, at the Tesla Life, if you want to follow us there through the week, have indicated that yes, indeed, they have gotten timeframes in the San Francisco Bay Area to come in and do some test drives. And there is some conflicting reports that some say that stores do have the performance car already, and others are saying that they were able to drive a rear-wheel drive car. So it really depends. I would certainly ask your Tesla appointment maker if you're able to drive the performance car, so you know that ahead of time before you show up. But that's what they're doing. So yeah. Now, 100 cars obviously won't cover the whole nation. They're probably rolling it out in a certain way that they feel is best. But it's good to see that they're starting to actively sell the Model 3, which to this point has not been happening.
And it should be.
Yeah.
Well, now it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't yet, but I'll be signing up at some point for a test drive.
Get on that list, Tony. I'm sure Chicago is one of the areas that those cars are coming to.
Yep.
So I want to do the next one.
Go right ahead.
And chat room, nothing. Still, it's still me all the time.
Still you all the time. Yeah. And not even the little boxes on the bottom that even show me and Mark. So I mean, literally, it's just one big screen of Russell Frost.
It is just Russell Vision tonight, people.
No, that's horrifying. Oh my God, I have to go look at that. Okay, so this next article, Elon did an interview with Bloomberg, and the important one, I think one of the important takeaways was that Elon said that that in the past it has been either necessary or it was the decided upon strategy that they would be betting the company on a new product. Roadster. Well, I mean, that's your first product.
That's your first product. So
but you didn't have a choice. You got to start somewhere. S, obviously, not as much with X. And then obviously 3, a huge, important bet the company again. And Elon said that was that this was the last time they were going to do it. And the only picture in my head I have goes back to my childhood. It goes back to a simple hand-drawn cartoon where Charlie Brown and Lucy are going to play a game, and Lucy's going to hold the football, and Charlie Brown's going to kick it. And never again will Lucy pull that football away, except for this time. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to bet the company on you know what, Elon, you're going to do whatever you're going to do. And that's sort of the not good part of Elon Musk as CEO, is that sometimes he doesn't necessarily follow a path that is the best path, arguably. Now, he's gotten Tesla this far, more than I could have done. Cheers for him for that. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, just what last news story we talked about, Elon says 10,000 a day or 10,000 a week. Okay.
Not anytime soon.
No, I mean, and maybe, I don't know, maybe Elon knows, maybe there's 2 more tents coming. Maybe there's another alien juggernaut being deployed. I don't know, but I just want them to make cars and make money and be successful.
And good cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like it's a corporate thing. You have what is it? Speed, budget, and quality. Pick 2.
Right.
Yeah. Well, at least, like, as this story kind of points out, the push to get the Model 3 ramped up faster than Tesla originally had thought about it being ramped up at was done because of the number of reservations that came in that blew away their expectations. I think Tesla had taken a poll internally of executives about what number that those pre-orders were going to go up to, and it was reported that nobody had a number higher than 200,000. And eventually we saw, of course, that number went over 400,000. So with that, that's why the ramp was pushed up dramatically. It was pushed up, I believe it was 14 months ahead of schedule. And they had to blow vast amounts of capital, in order to make that happen. Mm-hmm. And that, of course, allowed them, they had to borrow, they had to change schedules that they were doing. More money had to come in order to cover it. And that's what they're talking about, betting the company. Because this wasn't a controlled rollout that they believed they had already mapped out. This was now an accelerated path where they were dropping a year from the timetable and pushing this faster than what they were prepared to do previously. And again, that's part of that Elon Musk, a savior and someone that's going to kill the company all in one person, because he pushed it forward and said, yeah, we're going to do this acceleration. We're going to make it happen because we have all these people, double the amount that we expected, if not more, and we have to get this car into their hands as quickly as possible.
One thing I enjoyed, and I chuckled in this article, Elon says a lot of the hope for automation was counterproductive. And then he says, it's not like we knew it would be bad, because why would we buy a ticket to hell? And I'm thinking everyone at Tesla except Elon is saying, who's this we were talking about? Because we warned you. I mean, right? I mean, who else at Tesla?
Everyone!
Yes. He was the only one pushing full automation. Let's skip the test runs. Let's go all in.
Who knows how many enablers Elon has at Tesla? I don't know that that's entirely fair, but yeah, I mean, clearly this came from Elon, and Elon's been the alien juggernaut, robots working at the speed of light in total darkness, blah, 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 blah. Instead of just like, we're going to make a bunch of great cars. Elon's got to blow that shit up.
Right. We're going to master the process, and then we're going to start automating, and then we'll start ramping up production speed.
No, that's the normal way of doing things.
Yeah.
This was something. He's producing an extraordinary car, and he was going to rewrite the book on how it was made.
Yes, I remember that conversation, and even at that time, how many, last year, we were like, good luck with that.
How many times did Elon say it's all about
Road Trip 2018.
Woohoo! And why he's driving? Well, I guess you're a passenger, right?
I am I'm in the back seat.
Hopefully he's a passenger. Yes.
Thank God for that. Patrick, in his Model X with some friends, headed down my way. You're not in my neighborhood right now, are you?
No, we're almost to LA right now.
Okay, good, because I want to be well hidden by the time you pass through.
There's enough traffic between here and there that it'll be hours before I'm in your neighborhood.
Hey, so Ultimate Nerd Road Trip 2018, how's it going?
It is going great. We're over 1,000 miles. It's still going strong, and this is pretty nice. I don't have to pay for gas for the full trip, and since I have an older Tesla, I get that's working out great.
I saw the Harris Ranch thing. Did you? How was the Harris Ranch supercharger?
We were only there for like 5 minutes because I wanted to go to Kettleman City. That's the new big one, and I hadn't seen it. I was at Harris Ranch last year, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, didn't stay there this time.
Anything to report on Kettleman City?
It could use a restaurant, like a 1950s diner would be really cool. Isn't that what they're going to build next?
In Santa Monica.
In Santa Monica, not in Kettleman City, but yeah.
Right, I said it could use one, yeah.
Yeah.
But it is cool. There's lots of stations there. There were only a few cars. That was the problem last year in LA and in Mount Shasta. We had to stop and wait to get a spot. This year we haven't had any problems, so it's going a lot faster. It's nice that they have those big stalls with lots of places to charge up.
Nice.
Yeah, and Kettleman, you said has like 40 chargers, and you said there was only a few cars there.
Yes, so that was really nice.
Okay.
And then they have a lounge. You can enter a passcode. There's a barista in there. They have vending machines and nice air conditioning because it's 102 down here right now.
Wow.
I'm not used to this kind of heat.
Go back to Oregon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not the air conditioner's working in here.
Oh, you have an air conditioner? I did not realize that was standard equipment.
I bought the premium package.
Ah. Excellent. Any other good Tesla anecdotes from the trip so far?
No, not yet.
Wait. I just had like an epiphany. Who's driving your car?
Oh, I just turned it on autopilot.
Yeah.
I do have some fellow nerds with me here. Here we go.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, you're not just in the passenger seat; you're in the back seat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
I'm getting chauffeured.
Nice.
Sweet.
Nice.
I was going to say, you got that update from Tesla where you got the completely autonomous package. And it's just driving you along.
Yeah, it's called Bring Your Friend. Designated driver for this leg.
So, does the new update have the Teen Wolf mode? Put it on autonomous, and then you surf on the roof.
Exactly. Yeah, so you can surf on the roof. Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, I'll let you try. You can go next, Tony. You can try it.
I'm on it.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. I'm sure that this signal won't hold out forever. So have a good show. See you later.
Hey, have a safe drive, and
Safe.
maybe I'll see you soon, next couple of days.
Yeah. See you soon. Later.
Have fun,
Bye.
nerds.
Yep.
Thanks.
Later.
Woo. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Connor, our own Patrick Connor, driving his own Model X.
Well, not now.
Yeah.
Yeah, writing in.
Maybe he was.
I will have to say the quality, the sound quality of that call-in was particularly nice, considering there was no rumble of an internal combustion engine in the background.
Oh, sorry.
Kind of amazing that he's zipping along. What would it be? In LA, he'd be coming in on.
He's
on
coming
what?
down the 5.
The 5, zipping along the 5, just transmitting as he goes.
Yeah, in an electric car.
Yeah.
Right.
Like 20 years ago, you're going down the 5. You're going to live broadcast from your car.
Yeah. Who would believe that? Really?
Yeah, right. Sure, buddy. Sure. Sure. If it doesn't have a carburetor, I don't want to talk about it. Once again, my apologies to everyone watching that this apparently is the Russell Show. Not intentional, folks. Not intentional. Well, let's see. Where were we? We were talking about the Bloomberg story.
Yep.
Yeah.
Had we beaten up on Elon?
I think it was pretty much
think
beaten
so.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can do this, Russell, but
I'm going
the
to
show
go there right
link. Why don't you go take a look and see if you can click on it and see if you can get part of the audio visual working?
Absolutely, sir. Because that audio visual part, that component is amazing.
So there was a tweet last week about our favorite tunnel excavation company, the Boring Company. They showed how they can make some of these, as they've been flagged as boring bricks.
Who doesn't love boring bricks?
That's right. That's right. So you get
like,
bored
yeah.
watching them, but
So
you've
boring.
got this machine that seems to be able to inject with the dirt that's pulled out from tunneling, put it into a machine, mix it with some materials that they're not entirely letting us know what they are, obviously.
Lithium.
And lithium, yes. and,
Dead bodies.
And the press will push out a number of Lego-looking type bricks that can be used in the construction of structures.
And oddly enough, they look like this. Yeah. Okay, so here, maybe finally. Whoa!
Family show.
That's a lot of audio.
See,
Let's
you've got
turn that
the
audio down because you really don't need it. It's like, look,
look at the bricks just push out, and then it goes back, and that press gets injected, pushes it down, and up pops the brick.
And there's a brick all ready to be bricked. And honestly, there are some that would say Tesla's been producing bricks for years. Oh, Russell's got 1 million of them, folks.
And he'll be here all night. Just him.
Tip your server, please. Please try the veal. Why do I need a boring brick?
You gotta do something with all that dirt that you pull out of a hole.
Hockey Day wrote they're using the bricks to build more gigafactories.
Exactly. So they've been pushing these bricks out as an example. And again, I don't know if this is, obviously they had talked about this previously. They even now mentioned that they're thinking about using the brick as part of the reinforcement of the tunnels themselves, and of course using them on other projects above ground. There was talk about using it for housing, for commercial buildings, for a number of uses. Anywhere that you would use a standard cement brick, this could be used.
One thing I thought was interesting is the bricks made from tunneling rock, the products would be rated for California seismic loads, making them incredibly durable.
So is that any different than a cinder block that you would get on a construction site? I can't answer that. I have no idea.
It looks like they're actually making cinder blocks, or, maybe not cinder, but,
right.
It's not just the Lego shaped ones, but also the cinder block looking ones.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's my thoughts on this.
Uh-oh.
Yes. When you bore a tunnel for a train or a subway or whatever, what does happen to all the displaced dirt?
It's loaded on a conveyor belt and shipped out the back of the tunnel and then usually trucked away. To Magic Land where the unicorns eat it. No, Ohio.
Okay, to Ohio.
Same thing.
It's got. They're trying to smooth out those remaining hills in Ohio. It's not perfectly flat enough. So, my thought is if they can put the dirt to use instead of dumping it in a valley or whatever it is that other people do with the dirt, I think it's great that they're actually putting it to some use.
Yeah. It would be. They say like you had mentioned that it's a more seismically, I guess, better product. If the claims are true, then that's fantastic. Then you have yourself a resource that you can use to sell other products or to help in the construction of your tunnels or whatever. You're right. If you can use it within the site that you've pulled it from or close to it, then you've lowered your costs because you don't have to truck this stuff away anymore. You don't have to pay for it to move. Some of it can be reassembled and used around the construction site or close to it. And that certainly would be a cost savings for anybody. So as long as they're, as long as the bricks will work properly for their design purpose, then this is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, so Bill in the chat said, someone said the bricks could withstand 5,000 PSI. So I just Googled concrete masonry unit. Actually, I Googled cinder block. It gave me the Wikipedia to concrete masonry unit. And it says the compressive strength of concrete masonry units with masonry walls varies from approximately 1,000 to 5,000 PSI.
Okay.
So if these can also take 5,000, then they're on par with standard cinder blocks.
Very good.
There you go.
Then that's a win for them because, again, they can use it on site or close to on site, and it doesn't cost them as much to ship away all that material that's coming out of the tunnel as they dig it.
Yeah.
All right.
So, interestingly enough, part of the one of the things about Elon being so involved on Twitter is that, you know, there's unlike any other CEO that I'm aware of, he interacts directly with random people on Twitter, and sometimes that's great. Sometimes, arguably, maybe not so great. One of the things that I think Elon stepped in and didn't necessarily intend to was that in the aftermath of the whole mini sub thing, Elon got kind of sucked into this discussion of why he wasn't helping people in Flint. And I don't know that Elon shouldn't. And I'm actually going to sympathize a little bit. No, I'm not. Elon got sucked into something that really had nothing to do with him at all. Now, he's, of course, can be philanthropic and can help anybody or any cause that he wants. But if he hadn't been on Twitter, if he hadn't been responding to random people, and if he hadn't got sucked into this Twitter thing, the whole Elon Musk is trying to solve the Flint water crisis. Well, he's not. He's offered some very limited help to some people. If they have high rates of contamination, he will buy filters for them, is what he said he would do.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Good for him.
And he said that he was trying to figure out. There were many people that responded to his post about Flint. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's got 22 million followers on Twitter, so yeah, a few people responded, really? and they asked how they could help, if there was ways that they can contribute to the Flint resolution for some people, and he had indicated that he's going to put something together to think on how maybe some crowdsourcing could help, whether that be local plumbing companies in Flint helping to contribute to put these filters in place for people that can't do it, or things along that line. So we'll have to see if anything more becomes of it. But then again, you know, shortly after that, he got into the sub comment, and there were a number of comments made back and forth on that, a deleted Twitter posting here and there. So yeah, he certainly has stepped in it in a few places, and that was evident over the weekend.
So I have to say that you know, the tweets from and I know I'm going to say this wrong, the mayor of Flint, Marie Copany.
Yep.
And she wrote, "Hey world, let's set the record straight. My team has been working with FEMA." No, I'm sorry. FEMA doesn't give a shit. My team has been working with Elon Musk and his team for over a week. So, I mean, how sad is this? You know, this state of affairs that, you know, someone has to step up and say, okay, I have a gob of money. Let's do something. Instead of, okay, we're the federal government. Let's do something. I mean, I hate to go political, but good Lord, it's been 3 years? No, 2014. It's been 4 years. And now it's up to Elon Musk to have to step in and try to do something?
Well, yeah, that is a bad state of affairs to be in. There's no doubt. Just glad someone's looking to help somebody out here, though. Like, it's horrible. 4 years, like, why? You know, is it just that it's the story of the week? It drops off the radar, and then everyone forgets about it, including the local, municipal, and state governments. Like,
well, the state government of Michigan is corrupt and crooked at best. Let's be clear about that.
Hey,
the Snyder government precipitated this crisis and then refused to respond to it.
Hey, you can say whatever you want to say about Michigan, but they got nothing on Illinois. All right,
I actually think quite a bit on Illinois. Even a crooked rat bastard like Rahm Emanuel has not figured out how to poison an entire town.
That's true. That's true. They have looked into that several times.
Already accomplished. Rick Snyder's like, I did that years ago. Get the hell out of here.
Okay, so this article in Teslarati is really good, and kudos to Simon Alvarez for writing it, because he did a great job of explaining what caused the problem. And, maybe I had heard it back in 2014 when it happened, but really one of the problems was lead leaching from the lead water pipes. And as he wrote, lead is okay in this situation because they have orthophosphates that they use to help keep the lead from leaching into the water. And when they transferred the water from the Detroit River to the Flint River, they just stopped using the orthophosphates?
Yes.
How does someone just wake up someday and say, you know what, let's stop treating the water for lead?
You can see that they were just looking at a manifest and saying, "Why are we ordering all this crap here? Let's cut that out. Let's drop that off the budget list. We're not ordering that anymore."
This goes back to Snyder's privatizing everything and hiring an emergency manager to manage Flint, because Flint has been a city that has been under severe financial stress for decades. At one time it was a thriving manufacturing community, and in the last 30 years it is a shell, like much of Detroit. Snyder's thing was to promote an emergency manager who would run it like a business, and he did.
Yeah.
A business you wouldn't want to be living under.
No, nobody wants to live at work, do they? Elon. Oh,
oops,
sorry. Sleeping on the factory.
So we'll just have to wait a month or two and see, what's coming. But certainly we'll talk about it here.
That's so cool. Good for him for helping.
Next current referral program, which was in effect until the middle of July, has been extended by 2 weeks to the end of July. Someone figured out that the program was going to end in the middle of the month, and that just did not suit well. So they pushed it to the end of July. So the current referrals that are offering the free supercharging and the spiffs that are being offered will continue until the end of the month. So if someone is looking for a referral code to buy an S or an X, certainly let us know, and we will be happy to get you one that will help you out.
Absolutely. Do not use the electric code. Do not.
Now we're calling out other publications because states weren't big enough.
Yeah, the stakes weren't. Let's get someone pissed off at us. Wait a second. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it, Freddie. I was just having a little fun. So speaking of fun,
yes,
Tony got involved in some fun.
Oh, it was pretty tedious.
Oh man.
No, I'm just kidding. I haven't seen Zachary in the chat, so I'm not sure if he was there earlier. I haven't seen him recently.
You know why? You know why you haven't seen him in the chat?
Because I've only seen Russell.
Well, that's one thing, but the other thing is that he's probably been busy doing something.
Yes, he got a big freaking smile on his face. He's been driving his Model 3 around the block. So Zachary, friend of the show, went and got a Model 3. And the way this all came about was last week during the show, he said something like, "Hey, guys, I'm going to pick up my Model 3 this weekend." And just threw it there. And everyone's like, "Hey, congratulations. That'll be great." And I reached out to him afterwards and said, "Hey, can I tag along?" So I just shot a bunch of video, and then I put it together. It's 10 minutes. And, I said in the description of the video, I could have easily just made this a couple minutes of, "Hey, look, it's a car. Hey, what are your thoughts?" But as I was talking to Zachary and his friend Tracy, these guys get it. Not only is Zachary, he rents, so he doesn't have an opportunity to plug in every night. And he has done a lot of research on where he can charge for free while he's at the gym or going to a movie, how much the supercharging is going to charge him compared to the cost of his Prius, his current car. And he's calculated that for total ownership, the Tesla is not going to be that much more expensive than the Prius. Even without home charging, even after having to pay for charging. Wow. And I'm telling you, just listening to him, he gets it. And that's why I didn't want to cut stuff out, because everything he said was so true and spot on. And you could tell it was very meticulously thought out.
And watching the video, it was infectious. Just watching his enthusiasm as he was explaining it in the dealership. Tony was filming away. It was infectious about how positive he was about it. You could tell he's done a lot of research. You could tell that he was just brimming with happiness as he was there to pick up the car. And it was kind of cool to watch. And I would suggest everyone click on the link in the show notes and take a look. It's 10 minutes. You get to see Zachary pick up his car. Was pretty neat.
Very cool. Yeah, nice job, Tony.
Yeah.
Thanks. Zach, thank you for letting us tag along. I mean, that's the important part.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and have to do that.
He's famous now. So I posted it Sunday, and even while we've been doing the show, it's gotten almost 10 more hits. So he's at almost 1,900 views now.
Exactly. So Zachary now has to wear dark sunglasses all the time, and is now has to drive around his house 3 or 4 times before he pulls in the park to avoid the paparazzi.
Exactly.
He'll lead them astray.
Yeah, that's why he couldn't be with us in the chat room, because he's still circling the household right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Next, we're going to skip one because it's kind of a duplicate of what we had already done.
Fair enough, sir.
You can check the link. There was another write-up about Hell for Elon is a mid-sized sedan, and it talks about the walkthrough of the thought of the Model 3, the creation, the manufacturer, and of course the rollout that's currently going on. It's a good article to read, but it's a little bit of duplication of what we already done on the show. So we will skip to the next one, which is Mr. Steven gets a bigger net for space fishing.
Steven. And what's Mr. Steven?
And what is Mr. Steven? If you don't know, Mr. Steven is a recovery boat that Tesla has leased and is used, in this case, to recover fairings from rockets sent into space on SpaceX rockets. So, as you know, SpaceX sending many cargoes into space, satellites and so forth. And at the top of each rocket, there is a 2-piece fairing that goes over top of the payload. And once the rocket gets into a certain orbit, the payload doors peel off, and typically, in the past, have always dropped to Earth and splashed down somewhere in the ocean and ended up at the bottom of the ocean. Well, it turns out that these fairings that come off of the spacecraft are worth about $3 million a pop. So SpaceX, with their reusable rocket architecture of having thrusters that would allow the rocket to land back either on a ship or on land to be reused, decided that they were going to try to capture these fairings to be reused. Simple enough task, right? Mm-hmm. You get a piece of space debris falling from who knows what height back into Earth's atmosphere, heading towards the ocean, and you're going to take a ship and move it underneath it and catch it in a large catcher's mitt is basically what's going on.
What could be easier?
Yeah, really. Really.
I got it. I got it.
Splash. And so they've been trying this out a few times, and what they've done is they've built basically a large net on the back of the ship in order for them to use it as a catcher's mitt to grab the fairing as it drops to Earth. They've added parachutes to the fairing to try to slow it down, to be able to direct it a little bit better. But, you know, you can imagine, you know, on a boat trying to maneuver it to a spot where you're going to be right under it and catch it. And for, of course, the fairing not to slam into the wheelhouse of the boat or, you know, miss the net completely. This is a bit of a hairy operation. Well, it turns out that they felt the net was too small. So they decided to basically double the size of the net. So we've now almost have a square acre of net on top of this boat, Mr. Steven, that is now going to be tested out in the next launch. I believe it's July 25th. And there were some pictures that were posted in Tesla Radi where it was showing the size of the net compared to it parked at a dock. And it's just, it's unbelievable, the size of the arms and the net that is put on this boat. And they pushed it out to sea where it's been doing some trials, some maneuvering, trying to get it around quickly to spin and to back up and other exercises. But come the 25th of July, if the rocket goes off as scheduled, we will be able to see this in action again and see if it's able to catch a fairing. So
does anyone else, are either of you concerned that the fairing is going to come down in the middle of the net and just bounce off the top of the boat? I mean, how many of us have like tried to catch something in a sheet or something, and then the sheet whatever you catch just pulls the sheet out of your hand?
Yeah, it's like catching the bull, and it still hits you in the face, even though you had the catcher's mitt up. Yes, exactly.
I mean, wouldn't it be, you know, so Elon and crew need to call me, because it would seem that it would be easier to make a big square hollowish donut-looking boat with a net in the middle and maneuver it so that it lands in the net and the water at the same time.
The problem apparently, Tony, is the fairing can't get wet. That's the issue.
Right.
Oh, that's the reusable.
Yeah, there's something in the fairing that does not mix with seawater, and they cannot have it touch the water. Because there have been documents where you see the fairing come down and splash down right beside the boat, and it's still floating there. They can obviously reach out somehow, grab it, and pull it onto the boat. But there's a problem with it getting water in it, and that can't happen. So now it's got to be just straight out of the air catch. Otherwise, it's no good for them.
Well, then they need to use helicopters and catch it as it's floating, right? Because it has parachutes.
Now I'm imagining one of those Godzilla movies where they helicopter the net in to try to catch the Godzilla. Yes.
You just said the answer. The answer isn't, it's Godzilla.
Yes.
You need Godzilla to catch the fairing.
With the catcher's mitts.
Godzilla wouldn't bobble it.
And a pair of Oakleys so he's not staring directly into the sun.
But if he missed it, Russell, he'd get upset and just obliterate it with his death ray.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know, I mean, yeah, that's going to happen. That'll be fun for the kids. But
so be watching this next SpaceX launch, and we'll see if they're successful this time.
And I have furiously tried to find out why Mr. Steven is called Mr. Steven, and no one really knows.
Nobody really knows it. There is an answer. We're going to endeavor to find it, but right now we don't know why. Actually, chat room, do you know why Mr. Steven is called Mr. Steven? We'll see.
Apparently, it's somewhat. Elon claims it was a random name change.
I think it's because he doesn't like to be called Mrs. Steven.
Maybe that's it.
Oh, that sounds sexist. Let's not go there.
No,
that kind of week. Mark,
I do have one last thing, but unfortunately, it's a photo, so I'm going to have to describe it to you. It has been placed on the Twitter feed again at the Tesla Life. If you want to see it on the Twitter feed, or if you want to see it on our Facebook page, it's the Tesla Life #1. So certainly you can join those and see the photo afterwards. But the photo is of a new VIN number that has been captured. And if you remember, our last VIN number was in the 49,000s. This one has broken the 50,000 barrier and has actually jumped to 55,304. And it turns out that this number comes off of one of those production performance Model 3s that have been delivered to one of those Tesla stores for test drives. So that's where this number came from, at 55,304. And if you don't believe me, too bad. Or you can look it up on the feed and see it for yourself.
If only I knew the account.
You've forgotten the account already, Tony?
The Tesla Life.
At the Tesla Life.
The Tesla Life. Waiting for you to say, just kind of slip that in.
It was sort of that was sort of like a setup.
I tried.
And we do want to thank the photograph person who took the photo was Mark Benton, who happened to be in the San Francisco Bay Area and snapped those photos and shared it. And we thank him very much.
There you go. Thank you, Mark. That was very cool. Well, I don't have any shout outs this week because I think I feel like I've already been too much a part of this show. So, Tony Schaefer.
A shout out as usual to everyone in the chat room. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I see some new names, and that is absolutely awesome. It really is. It's great always to see people in the chat spending an hour with us. So thanks for taking some time out of your day.
And we have been notified that the chat room is seeing something a little bit different now. Russell's gone, and there's a black Model 3 showing.
Yeah,
so we're sorry. We don't know what's happened with Google Hangouts today. There has been an issue. We don't know what it is.
Because I've been watching porn on my computer during the whole show, and that's never come up. Where did the black Model 3 come from? Oh, did I? I'm sorry.
Maybe that's a different.
I feel so silly now.
Yeah.
So I would like to say thanks to everyone in the chat room as well. But also, if you're out there listening, please press the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Give us another follower. We really appreciate it. It really helps us out if you add those numbers. And if you wish, press the little bell button beside it, and you'll be alerted when the shows go live. So get that subscribe button pressed, please. It helps us out immensely. We would really appreciate it.
There you go. Absolutely. That's all I got. As always, want to thank Lee Moon for our theme music. Lee was kind enough to compose, perform, and lets us play it for free because that's what we have in our theme music budget. So thank you, Lee. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. My thanks to Mr. Mark Coughlin, Mr. Tony Schaefer for an incredible show.
Thank you, Russell.
Yep. Thanks.
And my thanks to Zachary for letting Tony tag along and shoot some cool video.
Yes, thanks.
On the new model.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Tony, you were going to say something.
No, I'm just chiming in with you. Thanks to Zachary, and it was a good day.
So did the chat room decide on a title?
It's all around Russell Vision.
It's all around Russell Vision. Hockey Day said the Test of Life podcast.
What?
The test
of life.
Play on Tesla Life. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to pass.
All right.
Okay. Well, I really don't want to be the focal point, but I'll look at these titles. Thank you, everyone in the chat room. Thanks to all of you watching. Tune in next week. What do you got?
I was going to say, if you don't like the fact that you are on it, then the name of the title of the show should be "Don't Watch This Podcast."
Don't watch this. Yes, I do write that slow. Okay. I print and I write that slow, but my handwriting is immaculate. So that's all I got. Thanks all of you for watching. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. Tune in next week and find out what is going on in the Tesla life. Oh, we'll see you next week.
No, they'll see you next week.
Yeah, you'll see me. More of me. Yay, me.